Hello, and welcome to our online study group. This is a brief overview of how it will work, although it is not intended to explain all of the details. Information about the course is in your learning contract. There is information at Moodle, and each of you will get an email from me before the course starts with even more information. The online study group is broken up into 4 modules, which will be released over the time of the term. In them, there are discussion topics for which you will write a paragraph, known as an initial post. And then you are required to write 2 response posts to the initial post of other students. So therefore, in each module, you will write 3 paragraphs. And that will comprise 20% of your grade. The other 80% are essays, and each are worth 40%. If you're doing introductory level, they are 10 pages, 2 10-page essays. If you're doing advanced level, they are 2 12-page essays, which are graded a little more rigorously, as will be your posts. The modules, in a sense, or the paragraphs that you write for the modules, are kind of practice for the essays. So I will give everyone written feedback for their first module, but after that, if you want feedback on the modules, let me know and we can set up a phone call or Skype. My preference is for verbal feedback, and for your first essay, that's how we'll do it. We'll set up an appointment to speak. I prefer verbal feedback because it gives me an opportunity not just to give you feedback, but to hear your thoughts. And if you have any additional questions, you can ask them right then and there. And often in a phone call, we can go over a lot more material than we can if we keep exchanging emails. If it is not possible for you to have a phone call with me or something, or Skype, then I will write your feedback out. It's just not the best way to do it, in my opinion. The materials for the course are available at Moodle and in your learning contract. There are books, however, they're just suggested. I don't like requiring students to buy books if they don't need them, so the book list is simply a suggestion. You can get them from your local library, you can ignore them altogether, but the other materials that you'll have available to you are PDF files, which you can download, or you can get them from JSTOR, which you have access to. There'll be websites to look at. There'll be video lectures like this one. And then, lastly, is anything at all that you find useful. Any source that is useful to you, you can use. So that's how you'll sort of access the material that you'll use to write the modules and the essays. You'll also have as much access to me as you'd like. I'm available by email, I'm available by phone, I can Skype. So whatever, how much ever you need from me, you will get. You just have to let me know and we can set up appointments. In the feedback that I give you, what I'm really interested in is improvement. Because most students, when they start out in a course, they will write something, and it may not exactly be what I want them to get out of it, or may not be what they're supposed to be doing. So what I really look for is improvement over the course of the course. And if you show me improvement, then I will reward you for it. So for example, if you give me your first paper and you do your first module and you get a C, and then your subsequent modules get better, and then your last essay is an A, well, I will give you an A for the course because you showed me that in the end you understood it. Hopefully my feedback and the conversations that we'll have will help you to do that, but the more engaged you are with the course, the better you will do. I will send out an email with a lot of these details, so you'll have a written record of that as well. But as far as the content of the course, this is a course in history, and for some reason people don't have a firm grasp of what history is. They think that it is everything in the past, which is certainly true. History is everything in the past. But if it were just that, then really anybody could be an historian, because you just have to report on what happened. This happened, then this happened, then this happened. And really, if anybody can do it, then it's really not an academic discipline. In the discipline of history, what we do is we answer questions. How? Why? What does this mean? Why is this important? And that's a lot harder to do. So what we have to do is look at the evidence, read the documents, read other historians' analysis. And then we have to offer our interpretation of it, which is different than an opinion. An opinion is simply what you like and do not like. And I really don't care what you like and don't like, nor should you care what I like and don't like. What we're looking for is analysis. In other words, we want to look at that evidence and answer those questions, offer some reasons why, show that we understand the process of history itself. And that's really what I'm looking for in the papers and in the paragraphs that you'll write for the modules. But consider this. Historians look at the evidence of history, and then they offer their interpretation of it, often in articles and books. However, they don't always get it right. Sometimes we don't have enough information, or our standards of evaluation might be flawed or something. So historians don't always get history right. And I can't hold students to a higher standard than the discipline itself. So if you offer an interpretation, and I know it's not right, I'm not going to punish you for it. In fact, I will reward you for it, because that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want your interpretation. I want you to show me that you know how to think about history. That's the key. You're not going to get everything right. No one ever does. So if you can show me evidence that you are thinking about the material and trying to answer those questions, you will do well. If you're just going to write papers and posts that tell me what happened in history, you may pass the course, but you won't do very well, and I doubt you're really going to get a lot out of it. So that's essentially what I'm looking for, and all of that I will explain in specific detail in the videos for each of the modules. So as I present the material to you that I want you to look at, or things that I want you to understand, I'll explain that process. I will show you the evidence and then talk about what it means. And then hopefully from that and my feedback, you will be able to do the same thing with your written work. So as I mentioned, you will have as much access to me as you need, and I encourage you to stay in touch with all of your questions. So until we get started in the modules, I'll be available, and until then, I look forward to working with you. Thanks for listening.